What is up, guys? It's the Football Fanatic here, and I'm just going to go over the NHL playoff format for anyone that really is confused about how it works or anything like that. And most leagues follow this format, I believe. Some leagues, like the ECHL, I think are a little bit different, but yeah, you can apply this to multiple different leagues, I believe. So, to start off, you should know that 16 teams qualify. 8 from the Western Conference and 8 from the Eastern Conference, and then within those 8 you have 2 wild cards from the Western and the Eastern, and then you have 3 teams that automatically qualify in the Pacific and Central and the Western, so both of those get one, and then 3 teams in the Metropolitan Division and the Atlantic. So each division is going to have 3 automatically qualifying teams. For example, the Central Division this year is looking like Chicago, Minnesota, and then either St. Louis or Nashville is going to be they're going to be the automatically qualified 3 teams, and then the next best team there might get the wild card spot. So I'm just going to go over what this year's playoffs will look like and kind of explain as I do that. So let's just look at this image here. So up in the top left corner we have the Chicago Blackhawks, and they're the number 1 seed in the West right now. So they're going to play the wild card 2, or the 8th seed, the very last place, for getting into the playoffs. So Nashville at this moment is the wild card 2 slot. So Chicago will play Nashville because they're the 1st seed, and they will play the wild card 2 slot. Now if you go down, we have the Minnesota Wild versus the St. Louis Blues, and the reason for this is in the Central Division, these are split up, so it's in division play basically for the most part. So you have the number 1 versus the number 8 being Chicago and Nashville, and then what the NHL does is they just take the number 2 and 3 in each division and match them up against each other. So Minnesota at number 2, St. Louis at number 3. Even if Minnesota has like a better record than, say, the Oilers, who are the number 1 seed in the Pacific, they're still going to play the number 3 seed, not like the number 7 seed, which would be Calgary. Anyways, going down, the Oilers are the number 1 in the Pacific, and so they're going to play the wild card 1 slot, which is going to be the Calgary Flames. And then, like I said earlier, number 2 and 3 face off being the Ducks and the Sharks. These might change, we don't know. This is basically just off of the stats that I got today. It's April 2nd, if you're wondering. So, yeah, they'll probably get shifted around, especially with Nashville and St. Louis. Anyways, so moving on from the Western Conference and going to the Eastern Conference, we have the Capitals with the number 1 seed, of course. They are dominating, and they're going to play the wild card 2 slot, which is going to be Boston or Tampa Bay. Right now it's Boston, so they play wild card 2. And then, like I said earlier, number 2 and 3 will play in the Metropolitan Division, which is just an outstanding division right now. So we got Columbus versus the Penguins, and it's kind of funny because the Blue Jackets and the Penguins have a better point total than the Canadians, but the Canadians are technically going to get the better matchup because of the playoff system, which is why I think the NHL is probably going to change it eventually. So yeah, anyways, back down to the Montreal Canadiens. They're the number 1 seed right now in their conference, the Atlantic Conference, but they don't have a very big point total compared to all of the metropolitan teams. In fact, the New York Rangers, who are the wild card 1 seed right now, they have a better record. So, like I have here, I have the Rangers winning just in this like little mock NHL playoffs bracket. So yeah, they're going to play the wild card 1 seed, and then number 2 and 3 will face off. Number 2 is Toronto right now, and number 3 is Ottawa. So yeah, and then it's just, as you can see from the brackets, it basically just funnels into this, and you stay in your conference play for the most part, and then, or sorry, in your division play. So Pacific Division is going to be Oilers, Ducks, according to my terrible bracket, and then Blackhawks, Wild, and then you play, after the divisional play, you'll do Central versus Pacific, Metropolitan versus Atlantic, and the only thing that isn't going to be like in one of the divisions is the wild card spots. So like the Rangers should be up where Boston is, but they're not, and that's just part of the game though. So yeah, if this helped you, then that's good. I don't know. The playoffs can be a little bit confusing. I think they're a little more confusing in other leagues. Like I said, the ECHL has a pretty strange format. But yeah, they're probably going to change. We'll see which teams make it, which teams don't. They're pretty much locked up in the West. These teams should be getting in. Most of them have already clinched. I think Nashville's the only one that hasn't. And then in the Eastern Conference, we'll watch for Boston to clinch, or maybe Tampa Bay to clinch. Alright, so that is all I've got for you today. Like I said, leave a like if this helped, subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you guys next week.